Oh, The Great Divorce. What a great book. Kind of fiction, you know. A lot of these books that I did were fiction or non-fiction. The Great Divorce, man, such an amazing. Those are the kind of books that's how I know that C.S. Lewis was getting. He was getting information from the throne room. You know, like this wasn't coming from just a smart guy. Like what I tried to talk about in The Great Divorce is, you know, the idea of The Great Divorce is about this sort of fictional ride, sort of out and above, you know, Earth, and kind of seeing the differences between heaven and earth and hell and what, you know, how they're perceived. And it's a great book. It's not a tough book to read, which, you know, sometimes C.S. Lewis books can be. But what I tried to take from it, you know, there are times where he talks about how real the golden streets are and how we read them and process that, but they're real. Like, and they're going to be realer than, you know, we could have imagined. And I talk about, you know, the first verse, you know, the golden streets under my grandfather's feet are realer than the final breath he took before he told us all goodbye. You know, those streets exist. And they exist for my grandfather. And they're under his feet. And, you know, I say, in his loving wife who played piano till the day she died, they're now reunited with a bond the gates of hell cannot untie. She's there. And I remember them being on the second pew in the middle aisle of our church. And I remember her playing piano, and I remember sitting on his lap, and, you know, they would pass the tithe plate, and I would take his check and I would put it in there, and that made me feel, you know, like that's when I was 4 and 5, and it made me feel like I was a part of something huge. Like those two people that, you know, meant so much to me and still do, you know, they're divorced from this mire that we live in. And that's what a lot of the song talks about. How all these things happen, you know, and in the chorus it says, only what's unshakable remains in this great divorce. And, you know, that's a line from, you know, C.S. Lewis. Only the things that are unshakable remain in the high countries, in the ever after. The Great Divorce is such an amazing book, and this is one of my favorite songs that I've ever written, just because it's super upbeat. It is close to kind of like a rock song that I'll ever get to, like an indie rock song. And it just talks about some really awesome and important things, and it's a fun song while still paying a lot of, you know, homage to a great book and a serious premise. So yeah, that's The Great Divorce.